Hey everyone, this is Juliana. Bert and I are so excited to let you know that right now we are taking names and emails of anyone who is interested for when our courses launch. We're going to be doing a self paced course about how to use AI in your business, as well as a cohort learning course, which means it's live learning with me and Bert. If you'd like to be kept in the loop and receive first news of when it comes out, as well as some discounts, make sure you go to acceleratinghumans.com/presale to sign up.
What is the ideal relationship between now a person and their AI coworker? So whether it is, what do we think that may look like? Or really, how as the human can you use the AI coworker to your advantage? We now say that AI is going to be an employee, and let's say they're a part of the org chart.
Sure.
How would AI becoming an employee work for a team,
That's
for a
good
company?
question. Is adding AI actually beneficial to me? Do my existing employees, will they be able to work with it or not?
So it's interesting to think of. It's always been a common thread in the interviewing process to see how you are handling interacting with others. Now let's see how you can interact with our technology tools.
On today's episode, we're asking a simple but slightly mind-bending question. If AI is on your team, where does it sit on the org chart? Do you interview it, train it? Is it your coworker or your intern? We're unpacking what it means to bring AI into real organizations, how to prepare teams to work with it, and what responsibilities humans still own. Because, spoiler alert, you can't just blame the chatbot when things go sideways. So something happened the other day that made me pause. I was on a company's website looking for support and a little chat box popped up. Pretty normal, right? But here's the twist. It didn't say, talk to our team or speak with support. It said, chat with insert name. As if the AI had a desk right next to mine. Like, suddenly this wasn't just a tool. It was a teammate. And that got me thinking, what if AI really is a member of your team? What if it belongs on the org chart? What does that do to hiring, collaboration, or accountability? I mean, do we onboard it like a new hire? Can I assign it tasks? Should I say please and thank you? Today we're going to talk about what happens when AI stops being this abstract, flashy idea and actually becomes part of your company's DNA. We're going to talk about naming your bots, defining their role, and making sure your real-life team knows how to work with them, not against them. Because here's the truth. AI isn't coming for your job. It's joining your team. And if we're smart about it, that could be a very, very good thing. Let's get into it.
Good morning, Bert. Hi.
Good morning, Juliana. How are you?
Good. I was just on a website trying to figure something out, and a little blurb popped up, and it said, do you want to talk to our chat box? And then our chat bot had a name. It wasn't type here to talk to a team member. It was type here to talk to, and then insert name, as if the chat bot was a person or a team member. And that was an interesting concept.
Wait a second. Did it say insert name and they hadn't put the name in yet, or did they give it?
No, it was named, sort of like how Amazon calls their item Alexa, for example.
Yeah.
It had a name to it, but it wasn't. Normally, when you log in or you're on someone's website, it says to message us, click here or type here. It was being posed as if this chat
You're talking to Jim.
that potentially was using AI was a member of the company or the team.
Okay. So That I know that's funny, but at the same time, I'm deploying AI agents for various reasons right now, and I named them.
So what you're saying is that you have AI agents at your company on your org chart.
A couple, not too many.
So explain this to me.
Okay, Jennifer is an excellent phone answering chatbot. So if you call the company and so my CEO has his own chatbot that is it's an intelligent AI answering system. Call in. If he can't answer the phone, he rejects the call and it goes to, "Hi, I'm Blake, Dan's assistant, digital assistant." And then it'll take your information and it'll let him know. So instead of going to an answering service, it's been replaced by AI. Then I've also got a couple of websites, same sort of thing. If you call a specific number, we're going to try to handle the call and basically triage it in order to get you to the right person and the right part of our organization without having to talk to an actual human, because that wastes their time usually. A lot of times it's going to go to that person, to a specific person anyway. And I just want to make sure that I don't have it go to someone and then they immediately have to pick up and transfer you to another place. It's funny. I mean, the difference is now it's AI versus used to be a phone maze where you had to press a bunch of buttons. Now it just talks to you.
Yeah, but I'm almost, so I understand that. I understand taking something that was automated already.
Sure.
So when we're looking at technology, and we've spoken about this before, of there is this natural progression of technology. We have automation, where we had things where you could pull a lever, press this, and it triggers something. Now we have a little more nuanced, where it's going to gather some more information or do the job, but it's still like a level of automation. For example, Dan, the assistant for your CEO, does not kick in until your CEO decides to decline the call. The assistant isn't picking up the phone right now, having a whole conversation, saying, "Let me message Dan, let me see if this is okay," and replacing an executive assistant's role or function in that matter
coming
right now.
It's totally coming. The Chat GPT just released their agent, agent, which can interact with computers in lieu of you. So right now, for the most part, your chat's in a little box. You do the thing and it does its thing, and it might or might not have some API connections. But what we're talking about here is really something called the agentic era. And this is where all of your AIs have access to tools within your organization.
Yeah.
And that means that I can have an AI employee, because the AI employee can actually do something on their own without requiring someone else to be involved with it.
So does that mean that your AI employee is just literally going to be an employee of your company?
I think so. I mean,
AI is going to be a box on your org chart. It's going to be C levels, all these different C levels. And then at various points, you're going to have
let's be honest on this.
The AI person in there is
honest.
Essentially what we need to prep ourselves for, it sounds like.
We should, but they won't, because the way that we think is still, is it a person or not? And the org chart probably should include the AI in there, but we're not going to do it because that's not the way that people think.
Okay.
Because that right now, since the org chart doesn't actually reflect reality, it's not a good org chart. But if you add the AI in there and they understand that there's an additional level of complexity, it might make it more real, more true.
Okay.
But we're going to have to change how people think.
We now say that AI is going to be an employee, and let's say they're a part of the org chart.
Sure.
How would AI becoming an employee work for a team? For a company?
Question. That's a good question. So from my perspective, we've been talking about AI archetypes in one of our previous podcasts. And from my perspective, I have to look at am I hiring or am I retaining people that are able to, swim in the waters of the future or not? So without removing people, without chasing efficiency and losing staff, instead, if I'm trying to augment staff with AI, is adding AI actually beneficial to me? Do my existing employees, will they be able to work with it or not? Will they be able to leverage it to gain additional efficiency, to gain additional value for my company?
Yeah. And when I imagine building on a team or building a company, we're used to saying, let's bring someone in for an interview. Let's look at these hard skills. So we'll ask them smart questions and we'll see if they actually can deliver on what they've said they've done. But also, there's so many additional rounds of interviews a lot of times because you're trying to see if they're a good fit.
Yeah.
So
That's where it gets, when it's so many rounds of interviews, it makes me nervous because I think at a certain level, we dilute the value of the reason for the hire. So instead of saying, I'm trying to solve a particular problem within my organization and I need someone really skillful at this, I'm instead creating a competition against a bunch of individuals, which because I've got so many stakeholders involved in the decision, it ends up diluting the value to be who's the least bad based on all of their understanding of it versus who's the most good. And that's really nervous making for me. I've seen that play out a lot of times and I don't like it.
I understand there's competition where there's people nervous going up. But what I meant is there's a really big employer in the Nashville area-ish, the greater Nashville area.
Sure.
And I have a few friends who have worked for this employer. And the interview process is, I want to say something like 5 rounds. There's a dinner that needs to be done with leaders. There's a lot of steps to it. But part of it is this company wants to make sure you are the perfect culture fit. If you are okay going through all these rounds and you're okay with meeting all these people and you're okay with and understanding the reasoning behind all of this, then you are going to get along and understand just in general the work environment and your coworkers. So when you said hiring someone and how they handle AI, that's where my mind went to.
Sure.
I believe that we're going to have a lot of pushback of people going, well, I have 30 years work experience. Why does that matter? And the answer is, well, depending on the company you're in, if you're 30 years work experience and you're VP C-level, you may not have to work with AI. And that's okay. Or you may, depending on the type of company you are. If you're entering your company and if I'm interviewing to be CHRO or Chief People Officer, you might say, how are you handling AI? Which is a big one. But if you're going for example, this employer that I mentioned here in Tennessee, that might not be a question for them because they're so people focused. So it's interesting to think of. It's always been a common thread in the interviewing process to see how you are handling interacting with others. Now let's see how you can interact with our technology tools.
I think that's going to be, so there's something you brought up. Am I dealing with a legacy type company or am I dealing with a future focused company? I don't want to, I think that there's a place for both. There's still a portion of the US population, maybe 7 to 10% that don't have smartphones. They're fine. They don't need it. There's a lot of companies that are incredibly profitable that don't need all of this crap that we're talking about. They just don't. No real value for them. And the only reason that they'd add it is because it sounds good and it looks good. The exercise that you talked about with that many rounds of interviews, that's a really interesting, I've seen that a couple times. It's a de-risking exercise. And I do understand that. I mean, hiring someone, especially someone that is in a senior position that is going to have a lot of influence across the organization, you can really screw that up, and it's expensive. And it's not just expensive in I had to hire this person, onboard them. It's I hired them and I onboarded them. They pissed everybody off. I lost 3 of my best performers. And if I'm in the medical world, I lost a couple of coders. That's really bad. Can't find good coders. So it's really interesting the cascade effects from one decision are, and it totally makes sense. People trying to de-risk.
But I have to wonder this: if AI were to become my coworker,
sure,
what are my interactions supposed to look like? For example, if I am leading a new implementation of a tech product and I've decided to be the project manager on the project,
sure,
or I'm working with a company that you and I are consulting with on their AI readiness, and I'm putting together a change management plan. If I were to say, and here is my coworker, accelerating humans thought,
yeah,
how is my relationship with them supposed to look like? Because I also think back to being in an office setting, in an office structure. You always have that person that you're learning from.
Yeah.
Because they have more years of experience than you. Then there's the person that you are teaching because maybe they're coming in and they're not as senior as you. And then there are people that maybe they have more experience, maybe they have less, but you are just learning additional things from them. For example, how to interact with a different demographic is a great example. So what is the ideal relationship between now a person and their AI coworker? So whether it is, what do we think that may look like? Or really, how as the human can you use the AI coworker to your advantage?
That's a great question. And there's actually a lot of argument about that right now. Part of the argument is that every additional word that I add adds cost to compute. So if I'm polite to it and use please and thank you, it's going to cost more to operate. But at the same time, if I'm developing an actual synthetic intelligence, if you have experienced working with it, I get better results working with it when I'm polite to it. And I think that's because my prompts are better, because that's, if I'm humanizing it in the sense that I'm talking to it as if I were talking to a coworker, I'm able to frame my questions to it in a way that is less terse and is more in alignment with how I would talk to another person. And when I'm talking to an AI, it's really important for me to understand that, one, it is not a human. It does not think the way we do. It's looking at a large corpus of data that's available to us, and it's trying to give us the next best correct answer based on probability. So if within its information set, within its population of data, it's going to look for stuff that is similar to that is experienced before, or it's going to try to make a guess based on probability. So depending on the way that your company has set it up, it could be very specific. It's like, tell me where this document is. And that could be a very simple retrieval operation. It just goes and gets it, says, here it is. Good luck. If you are using it more as a strategist, you're probably going to have to be more nuanced in what you're asking for. And this is where being very clear in your communications is going to become more and more important, I think, because you have to structure the question to the AI in such a manner that it's able to understand, contextualize it, and then provide the information that you want. And you're going to train it. It's also going to train you.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, when you're training it, it almost sounds like the relationship you want to have with AI is you and an intern.
Similar. For me, at least. I mean, it's...
Well, there's things that even in our business, I think about them. And while we can create advanced analytics to help us with an analysis, at the end of the day, I'm not asking AI to do anything that I can't do. nor am I asking AI when it comes to my business. Now,
Sure.
outside of work, outside of the business, it might be a little bit different, but within a business sense, I'm not asking AI to do anything that I can't do myself. So I might ask AI to put together an invoice for me, but that's just saving me 10 minutes of putting that together. Or I'm asking AI, here are my notes. Can you put this in a format that will be easy to import into Notion?
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
here is a meeting. Can you transcribe this or take notes from it? So it's nothing big, but it's almost like I'm treating it as an intern. And that to me makes the most sense, is maybe in the future if AI is your employee, that relationship would most likely look like a employee, plus an intern, full-time employee, an intern being your AI, because your intern's really not getting evaluated.
Sure.
That's a big one. There's no performance evaluation on your intern. There's usually no accountability for your intern. Your intern is usually restricted on their responsibilities.
Sure.
And what your intern doing is everything that you've taught your intern.
So those are all true. Your IT department, or if you are the IT department, you should be analyzing the performance of your AI. You should be grading it because you're trying to improve it. That being said, I think that your positioning here is really good, because it will soften the relationship between the people. So I'm bringing in someone that is junior to you to help you with your tasks, and you can tell it to do whatever you need it to do, and it will. And its job is to save you time. So I think the positioning is going to matter. And the AI doesn't care that you're positioning it as junior. The AI doesn't care, frankly, any of this stuff. But what it is it's an incredibly powerful tool if they will use it, if they understand how to interact with it. And I think that if you understand at a basic level what they're trying to accomplish, what your user that you're adding an AI to their team, it might help framing it. It's like we're adding an internal AI to your team. It is going to be in place to assist with this, this, and this. It will allow you to look at the existing documentation database, for example, and answer your questions faster. It can help summarize calls that you receive. It can clean data sets that you have. It will remove duplicates, and it will change type errors. And it will assist in drafting communications, and it will also assist in giving you prompts maybe to respond to questions that you don't know the answer to offhand. One of the things that's really powerful about AI is if I ask it a question, it is not going to be stumped. It will give me something. There is no blank page anxiety with AI. It will give me something.
But now the question is, when it gives you something, is it the right something?
And that's the important part. That's what we come back to. It's like do I have the context? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the expert judgment to determine if it's good?
And that's where I say it's more of this intern, or I could view it more as this intern, because when I was 19 doing my summer internship for an event planning company at the time, and I booked the wrong type of car service, I was doing it for college credit. I had maybe 2 more weeks left of this 6-week internship. There wasn't much that can be done.
Sure.
No one was going to hire me after that, because I still had several years left of school. And the point was to make this mistake and then learn from it. That's part of interning, right? Is making a mistake and learning from it. But again, if you were to say, now here's this AI tool that we are putting on your team, and you are a marketing team, and this AI tool is going to be creating your plan, your social media plan for the next 3 months. And in the social media plan, a feature is overlooked for one of the social media platforms, who is the accountable party there? Is
So
it AI
that
now because you put your trust in it? If you are hiring as a company, if you've decided to hire people who normally would be entry level or interns to do this full-time job, and AI missed that mark, is it your senior leaders?
No, this is the human in the loop aspect. And I think that when you're deploying it to a team, this is why I was saying, set the expectations of how they should use AI. And if you just take whatever output it gives you without first reviewing it, you're asking for getting hurt. I think it's much more reasonable to say, hey, I'm adding this AI to your team. It is here to assist you. You are responsible still for the output of your team. And if it was me, I'd actually get the intern in still because they're low cost, and I'd pair it with the AI and say, you guys knock yourselves out and see what I get, because it might surprise you.
Now you have rogue tweets going out on X or whatever.
Oh, no. I want to review it before it goes out because they already speak a different language from me. It's hilarious.
I'm just thinking, how do you can't invite the bot to the Christmas party.
That's Brave New World. I don't know.
It's really, but it's that really intriguing concept of working alongside AI versus you still being the master over AI.
I think you just hit the thing on the head. If I'm going to introduce AI as a part of my team, it needs to have a clearly defined place in the team as well as in the organizational structure. And the reason I say that is it means that the teams themselves still know who's responsible for the output, and they can't just blame it on the AI going rogue. So it's just, if it's wrong, you still own it. So you need to learn how to work with it better. You need to talk to the team that deployed it and say that I'm getting this output, help me steer it and train it in a way that's better. And you can get there.
Do you think that adding it to the org chart, though, or treating it like an employee, it almost sounds like in specific situation, it could be more burdensome to a company. If I were to come in as a person, years ago, I worked development for a nonprofit, and I was overseeing their database and doing analytics. And if I were to come in and say there's a software, there's AI that's now going to perform all these things. I mean, at the time we built a report using Crystal Report. So that was our technology, that was our automation doing numbers. And I still needed to double check those numbers. My director and I were going through numbers saying, why isn't this coming up? Why isn't that coming up? Because certain pieces were being left out of the calculation. And for me, I think, oh no, would this have been more work? Would this have been more for me and my accountability? Because I knew when I was hitting my 40 hours that week and I didn't mail the letters on Friday and it was going to go out on Monday. And if someone said, where were the letters? Show me the proof that they were mailed on Friday. And I'd go, I'm sorry, I sent them on Monday. But now I have to be responsible for another pseudo employee. I think that's where I can see some pushback.
So, hear me out. I think that this is going to be really interesting because instead of me being on the phone answering customers, it's likely to be me managing 5 AIs that are on the phones answering customers. And I need to be able to see the escalations and understand the relationships with the customers. So did the customers call in? Did they get what they wanted? What was the outcome? And I can put metrics to that. Now, looking at this from a business process flow or looking at it from an analyst perspective, if I come in and ask you about your company's org chart and you tell me, and it does not include that critical component that's interfacing with different parts of your organization, how am I going to know that? Is it documented anywhere? So if I say, where did this giant chunk of work come from? And I can't attribute it to somebody, or if I attribute it to the team and, and I'm not going to interview the team, I'm missing important context. So companies are going to have to evolve to be more data rich.
So last question that came to mind.
Sure.
Is when you said you're now managing, for example, 5 chatbots.
Yeah.
And you now need to see where this customer service, there might be an escalation for you to now step in. I think what'll also be very interesting is this AI. If we use this concept that AI is going to be the intern, the
Sure.
point of the intern was to stumble, fall, trip, and learn, then move up to that full-time employee who then trains the next level of intern. For now, replacing that intern with AI. How does someone who is coming from school, whether it's high school or college or beyond, get the experience and get the knowledge to move into that position where it's above intern?
That's the part that scares me the most, frankly, if I'm being blunt. I think that there's a risk that companies chase efficiency and they're going to harm their own productivity 5 years down the road. Basically, they're eating their young. So they'll harm productivity 5 years down the road because they're trying to capture efficiency now. And so they'll add AI when they would have added a person. And that's a problem. I think that the difference is the folks that are graduating now have to be able to show the value proposition of what they have to offer to a company. And they have to do so in a way that will get them to look at them. And that's going to be hard because they're competing against people that have been in the market for 5-10 years or more. And they're competing against AI, even if they don't think they are. This is one of those, we're in a moment, if you would, that is, what happened to the candle lighters in London when the electricity came about? What happened to the horse keepers or the stable masters when cars came about? What happened to secretaries when the personal computers became more ubiquitous?
But even in those scenarios, that's the people who had their jobs removed because of AI. I'm really looking at it saying this is a different side of the same coin, where it's not the people who have been our late stage career and now AI might be taking that job. I'm looking at it saying with the electricity example, candles, everything goes electric now. For you to become an electrician, there's a whole journeyman process.
Oh yeah.
A whole process of learning. Now imagine if there's no more journeyman's position and you're just hiring people out of electricians. You said, I need an electrician. And you go, well, there was no opportunities for all these interested people to become electricians, to become journeymen. That critical step was gone.
It's exactly why everybody's afraid right now. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how we navigate these kind of treacherous waters. Certain jobs are going to go away. Certain jobs are going to rise in importance. The way that we interact with work is fundamentally shifting. I'm excited. I'm by nature an optimist, but at the same time, I see, as I was working through the AI archetypes that we talked about earlier, I was trying to understand where people came from. I was trying to look at the research to understand what might drive and inform people's approaches to this. And what concerns me a lot is that people need some sort of context in order to engage with this. And if all they're hearing is doom and gloom, if all they're hearing is negative, it's going to cause them to react negatively, and it's going to cause them to get worse outcomes. And instead, they can look at it step back objectively and say, okay, what's happening? And for a portion of the population, it's going to be a bad outcome because there are jobs that are going to be lost. I think for a larger portion of the population, there's an incredible opportunity to accelerate past where we ever thought we could. And it's incredible what you can do.
And I think you hit on a great point of when you look at your company and say, are we ready for AI? And you build out that plan to adopt AI, you keep into your mind, if we replace all this with AI, how are we training up the next group to then manage and maintain? So if all your customer service people are mid-managers, when those mid-managers leave or those mid-managers get promoted, who do you have come into the mid-manager? Because that AI bot who's on the org chart cannot be promoted into that mid-manager person role.
You might be surprised. One of the things that we talk about is MOE, or mixture of experts. So we're very likely to have AIs that are specialized in different capabilities. I would not be surprised if you had one that was a second tier support coming out in the fairly near term, but they're going to lack the human sympathy, understanding the context to understand why someone is calling, that they've got barking dogs, screaming babies in the background and need help right now. You can make an AI act like it's a human or act like it has sympathy, but it doesn't.
Well, I think about, I was stuck in New York. I had gone to my parents for a baby shower, and I'm at their place and I get a notification that my flight has been canceled. I go on my phone, I say, okay, there was a flight that was supposed to leave. It got delayed hour and a half, and 15 minutes to the airport. I'm going to jump on that. I get through security. I look at the board. It changes to cancel in front of my eyes.
Oh no.
My computer's not working. You open chatbot and it says, I'll connect you. And the person on the end of the chatbot is taking forever. I picked up the phone, and the woman at this airline, she was just so lovely. And I'm going, okay, what flight can you get me on? And airlines have a way that, depending on weather or different circumstances, they can book you on partners. She's like, let me check the partners. Let me check this. And whatever she on her end, she's so much faster, so much quicker. And I remember saying, she goes, there's a flight to Chattanooga I can get you on. I'm going, okay, that's an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from where we live.
Yeah.
So I call my fiance and I said, I don't know if he's going to want to drive. And she goes, I'll go on hold. Because I'll go on hold and you call him right now. So I put her on hold and I call him and I'm figuring things out with him and I switch back. And that's the level of, would AI say, if you do not hear from this person on the phone in over 1 minute, or you have 1 minute of silence, not even background noise, hang up? Because the conversation took more than a minute. But the human aspect saying, please don't hang up.
Oh, I know. Well, this is what I would consider an edge case, but this is why we have humans in the loop. Exactly the why. In that particular case, and there's thousands just like that, where people are important, connections are important, that person understood your frustration, and they made a choice to, instead of disengage and say, there's nothing I can do for you, they said, let me leverage my years of experience with this. Let me think outside of the box. Let me help solve this person's problem. And I'm going to make a choice to put everybody else that might be calling on hold right now. So they're going to wait while I fix your problem. And that was a choice that person made, and it was beneficial to you. And I think that is really important for us to remember. That choice is incredible for us to remember. That's why we have employees. They are there to represent your business in a way that is valuable to your business, that AI is going to have a very difficult time doing. Could I program for that edge case? Yes. Should I? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Bert, I'm going to go update our org chart now. So me and our accelerating humans bot.
Yeah.
All our org chart of 3 now instead of just 2.
I like it. We need to get him a name, or her name. I'm not sure which one it is. Nope, they reply.
Maybe our listeners have an idea. If you have an idea, reach out to us. hello@acceleratinghumans.com. Let us know what we should name our AI bot. I promise you, or myself or Bert will answer you. You won't get our bot.
No, we haven't turned that on yet.
Well, Bert, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Juliana. Good conversation.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we loved recording this episode. As a reminder, you can find all information at www.acceleratinghumans.com. And if you want to be the first to know when our course, Automate to Accelerate, drops, or our live learning cohort, you can also go to acceleratinghumans.com/presale. Till next time.